What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for rocking out with the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and I appreciate you guys for continuing to roll out with me. Yesterday was wild. Yesterday was absolutely wild. Let me give a shout out to my first super chat of the day. Mike Jones came through with the 50 ball. I had to literally cut off the live stream yesterday because y'all kept showering me with all of them gifts and money and cash apps and stuff like that. And I said, listen, I appreciate the love, but I don't, I'm not used to people loving on me the way that y'all love on me. So Mike Jones says, good morning, Anton. No fumble in the bag on a Friday. Continue to celebrate 41 years of great living. I dropped 10 more pounds come November. I'm going to be a beast and get into that bag. Shout out to Mike Jones. I appreciate you, Mike, for continuing to roll with us. I seen you over there supporting Lapeef Let's Talk last night. And y'all something else, man. Y'all are absolutely something else. Let me also give a shout out to Mike, that dude sent the 10 ball via Cash App. Shanquella Brown sent $20, says, happy birthday, Anton. Appreciate the game you give. Mike Crawford hit me with a 20 ball, says, happy B-Day, bro. Ray Sean hit me with a 50 ball, says, 413 day. Constance Harris sent me $10. Jules 41. Bella with the 20. Blackheart Green Paper with the 41. Alexander Sr. with a 41. Brian Horsley, Heather, Jackson, Mabolaja, and Timothy Greathouse. Shout out to y'all, and Aaron O. I appreciate everybody that continues to contribute to the platform and hold me down. Let me also give a shout out to New Era. New Era is in the building, says, looking to start a food truck in Mississippi. I don't know where to start. Any suggestions would be appreciated. Also, would you suggest applying for business grants? Well, I'm assuming that the laws in Mississippi is much different than the laws here in Michigan. But I know here in Michigan, one of the things that you have to have is a commissary. Now, a commissary specifically here in Michigan, is a location where you can go and make sure that you can prep your food, because you can't just do that stuff in your house, right? That you can clean up, that you got good running water. Often at times it'll be another restaurant or it'll be a warehouse that has been certified food safe, that you can use as a restaurant. But I think that the first place that you should start if you're looking to do a food truck is online. And I always say that you can vet out an idea for less than $2,000 if you want to do it effectively. And so I'm not really sure that a food truck is the ideal thing, but maybe we should evaluate your business plan before we start talking about a food truck in general. So if you are a part of the Patreon, which I know that you are, hit me up in the Patreon and then we can talk about it. I can give you a more detailed response if you send me a message inside of the Patreon. And then we can go from there. Or you can email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. And then we can get it popping. Thank you for the fireball. Let's get into the show, y'all, because I do want to allow for anybody that's interested to be able to come up on the panel at the end of the show to be able to voice any concerns, any smoke that they may have for me, anything that they want to comment on that I talked about today or throughout the week. And even if you just want to show love or whatever like that, you are more than welcome to come up. You have to be on camera. You have to have good lighting. And please do not have a bonnet or a do-rag on and we can get it popping. All right. So shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all again for all of the birthday love, for everything that y'all sent me. Shout out to the Patreon members. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. So let me give two announcements and then we're going to get it popping with the show. First thing for the bag chasers, the responses is obviously overwhelming in that I'm assuming there's literally, I don't even want to say how many people is coming to the meetup, but it's a lot, right? So I am going to give an update over the weekend because I have to switch the venue and I have to switch how it is that I'm doing things, simply because I anticipated for it to be popping in Dallas, but I didn't anticipate for it to be overwhelmingly popping in Dallas, right? So anybody that's been to any of my meetups, including Atlanta and DC, you know it was lit. It was popping. It was awesome. We had good energy, good vibes. And I'm expecting for Dallas to be probably the biggest one that I've done yet. So I will be updating the Patreon, that post specifically, with the new location this weekend. And then you guys will be updated on that. Also, apparently you guys are really, really loving the latest post, the latest video that I dropped in the Patreon that I dropped 2 days ago, in which I broke down to you how for a long time now I've been making more than $500,000, somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million a year doing this life hack. And it's very simple. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, Anton, I can't believe it was that simple and that was that easy. Shout out to the Patreon members that's getting their wheels turning, and now you starting to implement and you start to looking at things from a business perspective, right? Because there is no shortage of bags. And I see a lot of people when they say stuff like, well, I just want to be financially free, or, I want to start my own business in order to get away from the man. That's not how rich people think. That's not how rich people think. The thing about getting money is that there's always more than one way to skin a cat, right? And so the goal is to maximize the amount of value that you exerting for your time, right? It doesn't matter if you're working in corporate America. Doesn't matter if you have your own businesses. Doesn't matter if you're utilizing life hacks. Doesn't matter if you're a content creator. Doesn't matter if you're a real estate mogul or whatever it is. You understand your talents. You understand what your expertise is, and then you're maximizing the amount of money that you make as a result of it, right? So looking at things from a business perspective, you'll understand very quickly working with me or becoming a bag chaser that the thing that we do is we maximize the amount of money that we make versus the amount of energy that we put into it. Very simple, very easy life hack. And if you know, you know. So shout out to the bag chasers and the Patreon members. It's lit in there. It's absolutely lit in there. So I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Let me also say this before I really get started with the articles, and then I'm going to pull y'all up on a live stream. I'm very much expecting for a lot of questions or for people to even have smoke for me today. You're more than welcome to. Before I board my plane over to Vegas, I got to go and see Usher. You know me. I do my little dance. So we chilling. So before I board the plane and check out Usher, shout out to my dog Dewberry in the building. Hey, y'all know Dew is my guy. Hey, dude, are we the last ones left? Are we the last real ones left, bro? That's you know what's so funny? Every time I see dude, I remember the last time I flew over to Dallas, and I was chilling over there with dude, and we was over at the Airbnb and we chilling, and I said, dude, let me show you something real quick. And he said, all right, come on, what's up, Ton? What's up, Ton? That's how dude talk. What's up, Ton? And so we chilling, right? And we in the Airbnb, and I just start giving them the game. I started showing them a bunch of stuff that I knew. I was giving him a lot of insight and information on how it is that he can maximize the amount of money that he can make, some of the life hacks. I'm like, yo, dude, do this, let me show you this, let me show you this. And he like, Twan, man, don't nobody be trying to get the information, bro. You just sit here and you just volunteer the information, man. I love you, Twan. And so that, that's how dude talk, right? That's my guy. But real friends, we add value into each other's lives. Real friends, we focus on if you somebody's homie, before we get started with the show, if you the homie is somebody, then you should be trying to ensure that they get as many bags and even be more successful than you. Because them being successful don't take nothing away from you. And what I see from people, and what I see from most people, including the most people that's in the black community and culture, is I see people turning on each other, people hating on each other, people not adding value. Listen, if you love your brother, then figure out how it is that you can add value into their life. Figure out how you can help them get a bag. Figure out how you can continue to pour into them. Figure out how you can continue to show up. Listen, when we go out, it be me, Dude, Charleston, we be hanging out and stuff like that. We don't argue over no checks. We don't be talking about who gonna pay the bill. We don't be trying to come up with money. We don't be trying to figure that shit out. We don't split bills and all of that other type of shit. That just get taken care of. When we go out, when we hit the flow, when we hit sporting events, when we hit a bar or whatever it is that we gonna do, we don't say, okay, listen, we got the little homies with us. It'd be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of us. We don't. You not sitting in the stands and then you over there and you all the way up in C, D, and all of that other type of stuff. We all gonna hit the flow. And listen, either we all going together and we all gonna be on the flow, or we not gonna go at all. Either we all gonna be on the same flow at the hotels, or we not gonna go at all. Either we all gonna be on the rooftops, or we just not gonna go at all. If there's no availability of tickets, then or there's only 6 tickets, but it's 8 of us, then we just not gonna roll. Because that's what the real ones do. And you don't see that anywhere anymore. Honestly. You know what we see? People trying to utilize each other in order to try to tear them down so they can build themselves up. It's always going to, listen, over time, do it tell you, over time, people are going to reveal who they are. Just wait on it. Just wait on it. You're going to see the real from the fake. You're going to be able to separate the real from the fake. You're going to be able to separate the people that actually got your back, the people that's actually supposedly for the black community. How you going to be for the black community, but every single person that you've ever encountered, talked about, or had a conversation about, nobody, you ain't never put no money in nobody's pocket. You ain't never celebrated nobody. You ain't never championed nobody. Your entire existence has been a crab in the barrel, and you ain't never actually added no value into nobody's life. Please tell me how you can be for the culture when every single thing that you've ever done, has been to take, and you've never given into or helped or poured into nobody else. Look at your circle. Look at the people around you. Look at your family. Look at the people that's in your bloodline. They'll tell on themselves. Eventually, they're going to show their hand. Eventually, they're going to tip their hand. I'll give you an example, right? I'll give you an example. The one person, one of the realest people that I've ever met in my entire life, and listen, y'all can assume, y'all can think about whatever rumors, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. Oh, she's Anton side chick. Oh, she's Anton shooter. But let me tell you something. The reason that y'all say shit like that, and shout out to my girl Q. Shout out to Q. The reason why y'all say stuff like that is because you just not used to ever having nobody on your team that actually support everything that you do. It's nothing that Q can do that y'all would ever say that I would support that y'all say against her. You can't say shit about Q. Not in my presence. You can't say nothing about her, none of that. You know why? Because she a real one. She a real one in real life. One of the realest ever. I see people, you know what I'm saying? They be in the background taking bets. Oh man, is Anton and Q ever gonna fall out? Wait on that shit. Wait on it. Just wait on it. Wait on it. Because let me tell you something. It's a difference between having an agreement with somebody and saying, listen, this is how we gonna move, versus actually having a real life friendship with somebody in which you actually adding value into their lives. She's invaluable to me. I think that she should be way, way further ahead when it comes to the amount of money that she make. And so my entire existence, my entire goal is to figure out how it is that I can add value into her life. And her entire online existence and goal and in real life, as far as my interaction with her, has been, man, let me figure out how it is that I can add value into Anton's life. And when we so busy building with each other and we so busy adding value into each other's lives, it's easy for people to look at it and say, well, what they got going on, or why she love him so much, or why he love her so much. It's because you ain't never had no real ones in your circle. And so everybody that you've ever had an interaction with, everything that you've ever done to them has been negative. You ain't never wanted to see them get more money than you. You ain't never wanted to see whether or not they was going to hold you down. Anytime somebody ever had a good idea, you told them how it was going to fail instead of trying to help them to understand how they could be successful. You ain't never had nothing but hate. Instead, you call it constructive criticism, but we can tell the difference. We can tell the difference. It is what it is. It is what it is. Listen, for all of these people that say that they are part of the black community and they blackity black, let me tell you something. I'd rather put the gun in Q's hand and put it in your hand. Actually, I take that back. I would rather not put the gun in Q's hand because she might fucking shoot you. For real. Let me take that back. I'd rather not put the gun in Q's hand because she might shoot you. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, shout out to Q. Shout out to Dewberry. Shout out to Charleston. Shout out to Rita. Shout out to Chelsea. I see you, Chelsea. Shout out to Natasha. Shout out to all of my bag chasers, the big podcast. There's too many of y'all to name. Y'all been holding me down for an extended period of time. We got a show to do, so I'm fully expecting for if you decide that you want to be able to tap in and jump on a panel, because I got some time today. I made time on Fridays. I pushed my flight out a little bit further before I go and see Usher. And I made time for y'all to be able to come up and give me y'all thoughts, good or bad. It is what it is. Make sure you're on camera. Make sure you don't have no do-rag on. Make sure you don't have no bonnet on, ladies. I don't want you to embarrass yourself. Let's get it popping. Let me read a couple more super chats, and then we're going to get it popping throughout the show. David Mosby in the building says, what up, bag chasers? Making and giving a bag up. Happy 41, Anton. Thank you for the Patreon game. Top dog. Shout out to my girl, Island Girl GQ. Jean Wick. I like that name. Says, black people, watch Uncle Tom 2. It'll change your life when you see the wealth and dignity our people once had in America. I don't even think people even know the difference between what an Uncle Tom is. People just say shit. They don't even know what Uncle Tom means. They don't even know where the term came from. Neither here nor there. Ororo Monroe says, happy belated birthday, Anton. I appreciate you. I had an awesome day yesterday. It was a chill day. The Intentional American, happy belated birthday, sir. Thank you for the 20 ball Intentional American. I appreciate you also. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you to everybody that showered me with love. I had a slice of cheesecake for my birthday. They sang happy birthday. I've been recording a lot of long form content. So every week I'm probably going to drop about an hour, hour and a half video on the other Anton Daniels channel to help y'all to see what's happening. I'll probably drop it on Sunday. But I've been recording for the last 2 weeks. And so it's all going to be one big video that I'm going to be dropping for y'all. And so y'all going to absolutely see what's going on. So let me get into the show. Again, if you guys want to come up on the panel, I am going to make that available for you guys. But let me see something really quickly before we get started. First things first, I want to address this first because this was something that was very, very, very personal to me. Shanquella Robinson. So before I give my thoughts, I'm going to go ahead and play the video for you guys, and then we're going to get it popping. It's going to be a full show today.
The latest in the case of Shanquella Robinson, who died while vacationing in Mexico. Her family saying they plan to continue fighting for answers after the Justice Department said it would not bring charges in the case. Janae Norman is here with more on this. This is so unsettling.
It absolutely is, and so many people asking so many more questions. This was unwelcome news to not only her family, but many on social media who pushed for the initial investigation into what happened. Now remember, Mexican authorities issued an arrest warrant last year. It's unclear how this new announcement from U.S. officials will impact that investigation or the extradition request.
So before we get started, and before I continue to play this video, because I also have a video with an interview from the mother saying what it is that she's saying, let me say this, and let me rejog your memory as to what was going on. Went over to Mexico, supposedly with her friends, guys and girls. A few of those guys were zesty, from what I can see from the video. They brutally murdered her, grabbed her phone and her belongings, came back, was in the mother's house. I also did an interview with the father, right? And he was heartbroken. I advocated for the black community to rally around Shanquella Robinson for something that was actually meaningful instead of all of this bullshit that you see happening every single day. But as usual, that story went away. Nobody's talking about it. Once the news cameras went away, everybody is still living scot-free, right? So let me go ahead and continue to play the video.
This morning, nearly 6 months after her mysterious death at a Mexican resort, the family of Shanquella Robinson reigniting their demand for answers.
We're disappointed, but we're not deterred.
In a statement Wednesday, U.S. authorities announcing they would not pursue charges. The DOJ saying, based on the results of the autopsy and after a careful deliberation and review of the investigative materials, the available evidence does not support a federal prosecution, adding it is important to reassure the public that experienced federal agents and seasoned prosecutors extensively reviewed the available evidence and have concluded that federal charges cannot be pursued.
Now, let me ask y'all a question as we continue to go through this, okay? At what point do the black community deem an issue to be meaningful enough to them to where they spend their time, money, resources advocating for the justice of someone? I seen y'all come out and y'all felt a certain type of way when they was running on y'all grass. Y'all advocated for George Floyd. Y'all got heavily involved in the Victim Olympics when they started tearing up your cities and things like that. Let there be a police shooting or something like that, even if it's not the police's fault, you're going to be over there trying to kill the police. But for something that's really meaningful and something that people can get behind for a girl that didn't deserve to die at all, I don't hear anybody. I see everybody has just completely disappeared and nobody has any kind of conversation about what's going on with Shanquella Robinson. I thought y'all was Black Power. No? All of the different issues that these black women can get behind. They talk about divesting. They talk about being a single baby mama. I don't hear nobody talking about Shanquella Robinson. Ain't that wild to y'all? That ain't mind-boggling to y'all? Let's continue.
Everything that was determined by the Mexican government that was included in the investigation would have been turned over to the US government. So there is potentially information that we're not aware of that would have also weakened this particular case.
The Attorney General's office in Baja California Sur telling ABC News they have no comment on the DOJ's decision and that their investigation remains open. The 25-year-old North Carolina native was on vacation in Mexico with 6 people last October when she died within 24 hours after arriving. Her mother says they told her Shanquella died of alcohol poisoning. Days later, video too graphic to show here surfaced, going viral on social media, showing Robinson being attacked and beaten by a woman in the villa where the group stayed, leading to public outcries for justice.
They will do. Think about this for a second, y'all. Yes, I am tying this straight to the black community because it's the same thing when it happens. If you're talking about, justice for this person or Black Lives Matters and the NAACP, and they champion and spending all of their money and time and resources on fucking Dwayne Wade's son. But I don't see anybody. Listen, y'all will do 100 fucking thousand videos on who supported or who was against just pearly things. Meanwhile, nobody gives a flying fuck about Shanquella Robinson. You have something that you can all galvanize and get behind, in which I'm not really sure you'll find one person that would disagree and be on the other side of the fence for this. This is finally an issue that everybody can get behind, and nobody is saying nothing all of a sudden. See, it was cool when it was the popular thing to talk about because everybody got the views from it. So they got the views, they got the monetization. They didn't really make no phone calls to the Department of Justice. They didn't call any of the legislative branches. They didn't continue to bring awareness to it. They forgot about it. It was the end of the conversation. And then they went over into the next victim Olympics subject that didn't actually add any value into the black community. But now you have an opportunity to galvanize and get behind a black woman. You have I'm reading super chats throughout the show. You have an opportunity to galvanize, and I can't imagine, whether or not you're black, white, Asian, or whatever, so on and so forth, that there's anybody that would disagree about what this is. But let me tell you something. This is not the thing that's going to get the views. Let me say it again. This is not the thing that's going to get the views. And so they'll do 100 videos on me, which I'm cool with, because if it's one thing for sure and two things for certain, my number one goal in 2023, and I'll show it to you at the end of the show inside of my notes, the number one goal is free marketing and promotion. And the only way that I can do that is to keep people talking, right? I got to keep the algorithm going because that's where all of the money is generated, right? But let's be clear. You can do two things at once. You can make money and use your platform to bring awareness every once in a while. Every single live stream don't have to have 1 million people in there. You don't have to utilize your platform every single time with no level of credibility to only talk about the things that generate the views. Where are the people that are advocating and dedicating 1 to 2 videos a month to continuing to keep some visibility on Shanquella Robinson? No, they're not going to do that. You know why they're not going to do that? Because they're not really for the black community. Yes, I'm pinning this on you. All of the blackity blacks, all of y'all with y'all black power hats on and all of this shingles at the bottom of your things, and you black Israelites and everything like that, and the people that's coming together, y'all didn't even like each other, FBAs, ADOS, y'all didn't like black immigrants, but all of a sudden y'all galvanized behind black immigrants. Where the fuck y'all at? How come it's the least blackity black person that continues to use his platform to bring visibility into an issue?
United States citizens cannot go to Mexico, commit a crime that we all saw on a video, and then come back to America and say, we're on base, we're safe, we're not going to be charged with a crime.
Mexican police initially saying she died of cardiac arrest, but her autopsy from Mexico later showing Shanquella's death the result of a severe spinal cord injury and a broken neck, leading authorities there to issue an arrest warrant for a suspect unidentified stateside. However, an autopsy done in the U.S. showing brain swelling and ruling her cause of death inconclusive was completed after her body was embalmed. The family's attorney saying those discrepancies were caused by delays.
If it had been taken serious from the very beginning, there would have been time to take an immediate autopsy.
And meanwhile, the family is still urging the U.S. to extradite who Mexico says is responsible for Shanquella's death and pushing for a high-level diplomatic intervention. A Mexican source close to the investigation also saying the participation of U.S. authorities is essential to moving this case forward. But guys, you can see why there are still so many questions.
Well, the family's attorney put it so well. And I mean,
you can't go to Mexico.
And many people saw the video. We didn't want to show it here for obvious reasons, but many saw her being beaten.
Yes, and then to have the autopsy that says a broken neck, spinal cord injuries, how could something not be done?
Let me share with you another video.
Federal prosecutors say there is not enough evidence to pursue charges related to the death of American Shanquella Robinson, who died in Mexico last year. The 25-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina, died on October 29th. Her death certificate listed the cause of death as a spinal and neck injury. A video posted online after her passing showed Robinson in a violent altercation with another woman. We're joined now by Salamandra Robinson, the mother of Shanquella Robinson. Salamandra, first of all, we're so sorry for your loss. What does it mean for your family to hear that federal charges will not be pursued?
We was very disappointed.
I'm sure. Were you surprised?
No, but I was disappointed because the simple fact is that they had enough evidence due to the video that was online, and they said it wasn't enough evidence, but I don't believe. And then they said that they don't know what was the cause of her death, but the cause of her death was due to the fight, from what we could see. And she said she didn't have a broken neck, and she also died from the swelling on the brain, but she also was beaten. So you can give me I feel that someone should have been arrested due to that, but they're trying to say that it didn't. So I might have to have her body exhumed because we need another autopsy.
Yo, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, pastors, AOC, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is over in a whole nother country. I heard she's in Ghana, according to Umar Johnson. Kamala Harris is in Ghana advocating for LGBTQ rights in another country. In another country. Hold your sister down. Hold your sister down.
Wow, and I'm sure all of this being said by a mom, these are just unimaginable things to be discussing about your daughter. Where does your fight for justice go at this point?
We're gonna keep going. We will be in Washington on May the 19th.
And your lawyers criticized the lack of urgency from U.S. authorities in this case. What do you feel should have been done differently?
I feel that they should have took this case and took it serious when it first happened. They didn't step up to the plate and do what they needed to do from the very beginning. They said it was out of their hands, but it looked like to me they didn't try to do anything, and they really failed my family, as being the FBI and the government here. We has really been failed, because my daughter didn't deserve to die like that. And brother was in Mexico or wherever it was. And they need to make a law, let people know that you can't go out of town and do nothing to someone and come back and think that you's okay with it. There was a video, everybody's seen the video. So there should have been some charges should have been made. And I'm talking about here in the United States.
So let me tell you what it is that I see. Let me tell you what my perspective of this whole thing is. Let me bring it down a little bit for you. Let me tell you what my perspective is. All this taught me was if I want to commit a crime, all I got to do is invite somebody to another country And I can get away with it. And not only will I get away with it, I won't be held accountable by black people because I won't be in the United States of America. Is that the lesson here? Is that the lesson here? Is that all I got to do is commit my crime in a completely different country? And then I can come back here. I can go into the mother's home. I could be chilling. I could pretend like she died from food poisoning or whatever, so on and so forth. And I don't have to worry about nobody saying anything negative about me as long as I do it in Mexico. Or maybe I can just go up to Canada. Right? As long as I do it in a country where they're overwhelmed and they're not necessarily concerned about what it is that's happening over here in America, that's all that's really matters, right? I seen the Justice Department, not even the Justice Department, I seen the Biden administration. I seen more advocating and more victim Olympians when they was trying to get Brittany Griner from Russia than I have for Shanquella Robinson, who died at the hands of people that look just like her. Or maybe they're not advocating for having these people brought up on charges because maybe it's because they're part of the alphabet community. The dudes that I seen on that video, that was talking, video recording it and everything like that, very much seemed like they were a part of the alphabet community. Who knows? Who can say? Who can say? But the one thing is for sure, and the two things is for certain, is we have too many countless examples. We was willing to trade the merchant of death in order to get Brittany Griner back because it was a photo op opportunity in order to ensure that y'all continue to vote for the Biden administration. But we sitting here and we can't get one phone call over into your legislative branches in order to ensure that the people that are responsible for Shanquella Robinson's death get held accountable. But we can get Brittany Griner all the way home from fucking Russia? Really? Okay. Listen, I'm not one to stick my nose in all of you blackety blacks' business because I know that y'all got a different way of handling things. But one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. I call it like I see it, and ain't nobody got no strings on me. Shout out to Mike Jones says, shout out to Island Girl Q, Natasha, and Azriel. They always showing love with the 20 ball. That is a fact. Shout out to my ladies. Christian Bailey is in the building with the 10 ball. Jalen Hawkins says, happy belated, my guy. See you in May. Got that coaching call in June, too. See you in soon. Much love. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, Jalen. Fight or Die Boxing says, sup, Anton, you move like people I want to surround myself with. I'm soaking what you dropping. Maybe I can stop this crap about who's blacker than who and move beyond the pettiness. Take this tuition, enjoy Vegas, my bro. Thank you, y'all. I can't wait to be live streaming from Vegas with y'all. Maybe I'll go and bring a few $1,000s with me so we can go ahead and mess up the church's money. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Fight or Die Boxing. Alex Tyson is in the building with the 10 ball. Says if it was white people on tape beating her, it would be riots and non-stop CNN panels. Shout out to Roland Martin. We know. All we need is a pale skin, and we can go ahead and get some justice being served. You know what I'm saying? So I will continue to stay on this. I will give you guys periodic updates as promised on what's going on Shanquella Robinson, because I think it's a travesty for us to even be having this conversation. But let's bring something that we know that black people can really get behind. All right, reading super chats throughout the show. We got Justice Clarence Thomas. Now, I've been holding on to this story for a little bit now, and one of the reasons that I've been holding on to this story, shout out to my dog Quest is in the building. I appreciate you, Quest. I've been holding on to this story for a little bit now, and one of the reasons I've been holding on to it is because I know that once a witch hunt starts coming out, especially when you're a person that's a conservative Supreme Court justice like Clarence Thomas, that will not be the end of it, because one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. Blackety blacks get behind anybody that they think does not think like them, even if it's to their own detriment. But we got a couple different things that we want to go over right now. So let's talk about Clarence Thomas, ladies and gentlemen.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is facing questions again about his failure to disclose transactions with a Republican megadonor. A new report by ProPublica details a 2014 real estate deal in which Harlan Crow's company paid $133,000 to Thomas and his family to buy the home where the justice's mother lived. Like the luxury vacations uncovered by ProPublica last week, the sale went unreported on Justice Thomas's financial disclosure forms.
Now, here's the problem. All right. I'm on my work laptop too, so I'm managing different notifications and meetings while we talking here. Here's the problem, y'all. A, I would never in a million years, ever, and I mean ever, run for any kind of public office or for any major seat that is held, voted on by, or is participated in by anything from a political perspective or from the voters' perspective, because you open yourself up to a level of scrutiny that is unmatched by anything that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I paid attention to it. And as a matter of fact, I was talking to Kwame, former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, got him on speed dial, talk to him on a regular basis. And I said, Kwame, now that you've been on both sides, right? You've been on the regular side and you've been on the side of actually being immersed in politics. Where do you think that the most change can happen? If you want to change something, if you want to change your city, if you want to change your community, if you want to have an impact in any way, where does the most change come from? And he said, it does not come from actually being involved in the political process as far as actually being a major figure, a mayor, a city councilman, a treasurer, a president, a governor. He said most of those people that come over from the business world, they don't get it. It's cutthroat over here. You're being led to the slaughter. We've seen it with Rick Snyder. Rick Snyder was a businessman that thought that he can make an impact as the governor of Michigan, and eventually he was leaving with his head on a plate, because one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. Politics is a completely different game, and you're going to have to completely be above board. And when I say above board, I mean all the way above board. I mean basically living like a pauper and possibly then making money later as a result of participating in a political process like Obama did, in which they then made the majority of their money off of speeches, Bill Clinton, books, and so on and so forth. But as far as actually being the same from a business perspective as you were before you became elected to office with their paltry salaries, you really gonna have to be a public servant.
Gabe Roth is the executive director of Fix the Court, a group that advocates for court reforms, and joins us now. So Gabe, this $133,000 transaction between Justice Thomas and
Ray Lynn says, there were tons of black YouTubers and celebs speaking about Shanquella Robinson when it first happened, and you ignored it and said, no, I didn't. I acknowledged it. I said when all of the views and it was popular in the news, and when you can get a lot of views from it, that's when people were talking about it. But everybody forgot about it, and nobody actually did anything about it. They didn't call their legislative branches. They didn't advocate for it. None of the Black Lives Matter people was a part of it. Nobody actually did anything. Y'all have fucking burned down your own entire neighborhoods if a white person shoot a black guy, but you won't actually advocate for somebody that's truly innocent and call on your legislative branches to do anything. I didn't ignore it. I'm realizing that now that it's not the popular thing to talk about, don't nobody want to talk about it no more, because they want to talk about the thing that actually get the views instead of the things that's actually best for the black community. Don't ever talk about me. I'm actually on speed dial with the Father. I don't choose to ignore anything. I call this shit how I see it. I don't got no strings on me. Remember that. And fuck these blackity blacks. I don't give a fuck about what they talking about. I know what I'm seeing. I know what I see.
And Harlan Crow, which Justice Thomas didn't disclose as the law requires. This marks the first known instance of payments between the two men. What are the implications?
Well, it appears from what we know so far, and I think there's more information that's going to be coming out in terms of how exactly the $133,000 was delineated or just divided between the Thomas family and among the properties. But the federal law is very clear. It says that to follow the financial disclosure law that was passed in 1978 after Watergate, filers, including Supreme Court justices, have to provide a brief description, a date, and the value of any purchase, sale, or exchange of real estate that exceeds $1,000. So this is obviously more than $1,000. Even if you divide the property up several ways, it's more than $1,000. So this is a violation of that statute, and there should be repercussions for that.
This sounds like a witch hunt to me. It genuinely sounds like a witch hunt to me. $133,000 to purchase the home of your parents, in which we're not going to absolve Justice Clarence Thomas from having to disclose this if this is what the law is calling for him to do. But it does. It sounds like a witch hunt. It sounds like a witch hunt from those that would like to unseat him and impeach him. Because if somebody purchased the former home of your parents, obviously seeing it as a good investment, especially from a historical significance perspective, that's not even like I was very much expecting when I seen this story come across my desk. I was expecting for this to be a major amount of money. I thought that they was going to say that they spent $1 million, $500,000, $750,000 purchasing some real estate property. $133,000. It was probably in the hood. Come on, man.
If Justice Thomas had reported it, would that have put him in the clear, ethically speaking, or do you see other potentially deeper ethical transgressions here in this close relationship between Justice Thomas and Harlan Crow, given that Mr. Crow has been a Republican megadonor for years?
Love the leading question. Yes, I think that that's pretty clear. That I think there's more than just the statutory violation on the real estate. I mean, the $500,000 valued trip via private plane and yacht to Indonesia, and the trips to New Zealand and East Texas and upstate New York. I mean, there's nothing like this on the Supreme Court, at least since Scalia passed away, where you have a single individual reaping such largesse from another individual, the latter being the one giving the gifts, having a clear political bent and wanting the court to do certain things, even if he might not have had any cases. So I think we should be expecting more ethically from our justices, and it's a real shame that what we have shown over the course of several weeks with these ProPublica reports is that our justices are just thumbing their nose to whatever ethical, very weak, but whatever ethical rules exist, and that we're not in the good place when that's happening.
So let me share with you exactly what they're referring to when they're talking about him thumbing his nose and spending time and all of this other type of stuff, because it didn't start with the $133,000 real estate transaction that wasn't disclosed. This story started weeks ago. And so I'm going to share, and one of the things that I like to do is I also like to share news articles and videos specifically from other news outlets and media, NBC News, Peacock, PBS, even CNN sometimes, even the blackety-black channels like BET with Vivica Fox in them, just to show you. I'm not just going to show you stuff from Fox News and stuff like that, because I think that they lie sometimes. But I want to show you the well-rounded view and picture so that you can get a real good understanding of exactly what's happening with whatever issue we're talking about, but specifically Justice Clarence Thomas right now.
And turning now to a new report raising serious ethical questions for Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. The article released by ProPublica says that Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas accepted luxury trips from conservative billionaire and Republican donor Harlan Crow. According to the report, Thomas, quote, has accepted luxury trips virtually every year from the Dallas businessman without disclosing them. NBC News has not been able to independently verify this reporting. Joining us now to discuss is NBC News Supreme Court reporter Lawrence Hurley. Lawrence, good morning. So first off,
wait a minute. First of all, who is that little boy on the panel right there on the left-hand side? Man, listen, man, honestly, and this is just me observing because I have not seen this. This was loaded onto my computer. Let me go ahead and close that out really quickly. This was loaded onto my computer as a part of what it was that I needed to discuss today. But why do all of our women gotta look like little boys on the public? Like, I wouldn't even mind her getting a few pieces, get a little bit of weave. Neither here nor there. Let's continue.
What are some of the key takeaways from the report and the ethical concerns that are being raised? What exactly are those?
There's two sort of different issues here. One is the fact that these previously undisclosed trips, were cost a lot of money and went on for a long time, and no one knew anything about this. The second question is, whether there was an actual breach of the ethics rules that judges have, which is the question of whether Justice Thomas was required to disclose these trips on his annual reports that they have to issue. And that question is sort of debated.
I never said that she didn't have a pretty face. I said why she gotta have a boosie fade. That's all I'm saying. Like, whatever.
But the broader question is it acceptable for a justice to accept these kind of trips anyway, whether or not they're allowed? And that's a sort of broader question that isn't really covered by these ethics rules.
Lawrence, I wanted to touch on that because there has been growing pressure for the Supreme Court to adopt a code of ethics. They've been making a lot of headlines, and it's not for their rulings, but a lot of ethics concerns, as we're discussing. They say they tend to follow the code of conduct that judges for lower courts follow. But these trips that ProPublica unveiled are now being debated about whether or not they're in violation of that code. What can you tell us about that? And
I'm reading super chat, Shirley. Y'all wild. Y'all are wild.
if they are a violation, Thomas's trips, could he actually see repercussions for that?
Yeah, so actually up until like a month ago, it was really unclear what kind of exemptions there are for justices when they're reporting about trips involving personal hospitality, which is like basically when they're going to stay with their friends, going out for dinner, that type of thing. And it seems like there was a sort of a big loophole here where, things like private travel and staying at private resorts didn't necessarily have to be disclosed. And there's a lot of debate over that going on right now between ethics experts. Some think it should have been reported, some say it shouldn't. But the rules were just tweaked last month. And so now going forward, it's very clear that they do have to be disclosed. But
so, long story short, and I am going to be reading super chats. Y'all is wild in the chat. Long story short, he has been apparently taking trips and being on yachts and all of that other type of stuff from wealthy donors. And I don't think that should be excused. If we're going to look at this objectively, y'all, we can't just have the conversation based off of where we align politically, right? If you are going to be a conservative, if you are on the Republican side, and this is one of the things that I always tell people and that I hold people accountable for, whether you're a man or a woman, and I see this happening within these spaces, even on YouTube, right? What happens to a lot of people is because they're on one particular side, they're unable to be objective in holding the real conversations and being accountable, or holding people accountable that may or may not do things that they agree with, right? And so if we're just looking at this objectively and we say, oh, okay, well, he was accepting a bunch of trips from Republican donors, in which I didn't think the $133,000 real estate transaction in which a rich Republican donor bought from him his mother's house, yeah, should he disclose it? Cool. That's something that I can overlook. But then you have to start really being honest and start looking at the ethics involved. And just because I'm conservative don't mean that I should overlook it. Just because he's a black man don't mean that I should overlook it. Is it a witch hunt? Possibly. But this is one of the reasons why you have to keep your nose clean, because when you accept the position of a Supreme Court justice, you also have to operate ethically so that we can remove any kind of possibility of tampering or problems that's associated with what it is that you're doing and the decisions that you're making on the Supreme Court. If you aligning with billionaires, honestly, come on, y'all, let's just be real. If you're aligning with billionaires and you're taking big trips, private planes, on yachts, all of this other type of stuff, it's very hard for me to believe that they're doing this just because they like you and it's not something that they get in return as a result of it. And even if it is the case in which they're not getting nothing in return as a result of it, I can't prove that. I can't prove that. Honestly, I cannot prove that. We don't know, right? But you're supposed to be the highest court in the land. And so I don't know what's going to come as a result of this, but I do like Justice Clarence Thomas. I do like what it is that he stands for. I like the way that he votes. But we can't just act like and we can ignore the possibility of what's happening behind the scenes, because if you're going to drive out corruption, then you have to drive it all the way out, and you can't have it amongst any of us. But on the flip side of that, I want to see him keep that same energy for the people that they like also, right? If a conservative can be held accountable, why aren't we holding accountable Biden for what's on his son's laptop? Why aren't we if we can hold Trump accountable and say it's going to be a witch hunt because he paid a chick some money in order to bust it down and for that to go away? I also want to see what's going on with AOC and a lot of the different stuff that's happening over there. And it's just too much inconsistency, right? And the inconsistency is because everybody has agendas instead of actually wanting what is right and what's best for the country. And so I don't have a problem with people calling out the possibilities of a billionaire or billionaires influencing Justice Clarence Thomas. I think that they should do an investigation to find out whether or not he is corrupted and what his ties and his relationships are to that. Because the minute that he decided to take on that position in the Supreme Court, then you start to get held by a different standard. Would I ever want to be a politician? Would I ever want to be a judge? Would I ever want to be any of that? Absolutely not, because I think it comes with too much scrutiny. And I want to be able to take my trips if I got some billionaire friends from my billionaire friends, and that's what comes along with it. So keep the same energy. Keep the same energy on both sides and be objective. That's all I got to say about that. Last but not least, shout out to Chigs. Shout out to Joe Budden and Rory and Maul. And I'm going to drop the link in the description for y'all to be able to cam up. Over a year ago, when Rory and Maul first broke up, I said this. And so I had to go and dig up my own video. Back when the show was called After Hours, it wasn't even called The Millionaire. Oh, wait a minute. What's it called? Oh, no. This segment of the show was called After Hours. This was the Millionaire Morning Show. But I had to go and dig up an old video in which every single person almost said that I was wrong. That Rory and Maul was going to go off on their own and they were going to do way better than Joe Budden because Joe Budden did him wrong and he wasn't even really the talent. And so Joe said, okay, make a better Joe. Make a better podcast. The same thing that Jay-Z did. And as usual, of course, you're going to have the initial people that rock with you when they are so against Joe, but all you got to do is keep working. Let me say this before we even get into this conversation. And I'm about to read the super chats. All you have to do is keep working, ladies and gentlemen. When the whole world get mad at you, when everybody gets upset at what it is that you got going on, the thing that you have to do is keep working. Keep being the talent. Keep being awesome. Stand on your square and do exactly what it is that you said that you was going to do. And all of it is going to come out to the wash. The people that wasn't about shit in the first place, they not going to be about shit after they get their little jump and their numbers or whatever like that. Because they're going to go right back to being a piece of shit and they're not that good at what it is that they do in the first place. And the talent and the people that's been able to endure and build it up all of this time, you going to see who's really who. And so I said it. I said the business move behind firing Rory and Maul was going to work out way better. And even when Joe Budden's subscribers dipped, he went right on back up. And then Rory and Maul just stalled right out. And they can't fucking throw a good podcast together to save their life. But let me just give you a little bit of a preview of what it is that I said. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. This whole dynamic. So if you haven't known already, for an extended period of time, Joe Budden and Maul and Rory, they've been beefed out a little bit, right? Maul kind of rolled with and sided with Rory in that, you know, he didn't approve of or didn't like the dynamics of how Joe Budden was running things or how things was going. And then you throw in the money and the splits and the what they feel like they should be getting and equity and all that other type of stuff. You throw that into the equation and the dynamics, and it's just one big implosion. So let me move forward a little bit. other people start to demand other things, it automatically throws a wrinkle in things, because it's not even just being discussed on the back end. It starts to spill into the performance and the conversations that's being had authentically on the show itself. And you can see it, right? You can see it. You can start to see the jealousy and the animosity, or what people feel like they're owed. And I was watching an episode where Rory was talking about, a lot of times he was talking about throwing hands. It's like, what we talking about? Throwing hands. It starts to spill over into your personal life and the things that go on. So let's continue to listen to this audio, and then we'll break it down from there. So let me fast forward a little bit. Platforms, which obviously continues to resonate with us as consumers, because we talking about Joe right now. And the business of being a content creator. And I say this all the time. I say this all the times when it comes to not just being a content creator, but just business in itself. I say that it's important, and I even said this when I broke down the whole idea of why you would fail in the restaurant business, is that the business acumen that you have to have in order to be successful in these fields often at time exceed what you would need in order to be successful with the food itself. Anybody can find a chef. Anybody can find a server. Can you run the business successfully? Is the marketing great? Are you able to generate revenue? Are you bringing in different deals to the table that's going to sustain this business model? Do you have an exit strategy? The business of content creation is much, much bigger than the actual content itself, because if you don't understand the business, all you doing is getting in a rat race. All you doing is you running this treadmill that you'll never truly be successful in. So with that being said, and you can go back and watch this video if you want to, because I said that Joe was going to be awesome. Rory and Maul was going to be and I was absolutely right? But more importantly, these are the type of information, and it's funny because the last two webinars that I did inside of the Patreon, I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. The last two webinars that we did in the Patreon, I broke down to you guys exactly the type of money that I make when it comes to content creation. And now ain't nobody fucking with me. Nobody is fucking with me because people don't understand the business of content creation. They too busy trying to be on code with people that don't actually have their best interests at heart. So let's step off of this for a minute, because I wanted to go throwback for a minute. And let me bring you into exactly what happened. So Rory and Maul were hating on Joe Budden because Joe Budden was ranked by magazines to be the #1 most influential and impactful and best podcaster that is out here in these streets today. And I largely agree with them. I agree with this assessment. Joe Budden was ranked to be the #1 as of right now podcaster. And we're not talking about, obviously, we're not talking about Joe Rogan or nothing like that, right? We're just talking purely based off of the Adam 22s, the DJ Academics, the Rory and Mauls, the Joe Buddens, and so on and so forth, and all of the different podcasters that's in these YouTube streets, right? Not the clips, people that are just in the YouTube streets, right? And Joe Budden was ranked to be #1. Now, obviously, Rory and Maul felt some type of way about it because they stalled out. So shout out to Chigs is Smooth. I'm going to play a little bit of this video to give you some understanding of exactly what's going on, right?
Chigs. If you guys ask me, I know some of you guys do not like Rory and Maul. I personally feel like they should have been there somewhere in the 20 to 25 range. They went through this list on their Patreon. You guys can go check it out. I thought it was interesting what they had to say about Joe Budden being #1. Here's what they said.
Oh, of course. Look at that. The thief. The cat burglar. Big integrity. Big integrity.
Big Tech?
Oh,
Big Tech.
man. Look at the cat burglar.
The 1-2 punch of Big Tech.
Look at the cat burglar. Staring off into the next house he wants to run in. Big cat. That's Big Cat.
Is that a Miri?
Quiet as a mouse.
I believe that this person belongs in the top 5. So I'm not mad at them being #1.
Look how short
I'm
his
keeping
brief
my
is.
non-bias the way I have this entire time. I didn't want to defend Adam 22, Nor do I want to defend this gentleman. But he should be in the top 5.
Why didn't they put a write-up on him?
They barely give him anything.
And that's based off what hip-hop media is now.
For more on the
So I'm not sure if I'm giving a compliment right now by saying I think these people should be in the top 5.
Ex-rapper to punting career path. Wow.
The most abrasive commentator in hip-hop.
I think they meant another.
So it's clear to see that they feel some type of way about it, right? They feel some type of way about it, but let's continue.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this could be the rollout for bringing the show back.
Yeah.
1-2 punch. That's
You don't
on there too.
You want to join Carisha?
Nah, she belong in number 7 though. We're not gonna do that.
No, wait.
I'm jacking Carisha.
You
at
can't
number 7.
jack
She's a
Carisha
bubble
at
tea?
7.
Yeah, I'm jacking that. That's a great spot for her to land.
She's
at.
a Cinderella that gets to the final 4.
Lucky number 7. That's a good number. That's a good number. Like, you know what I mean? I'm
This
jacking
list is absolute insanity.
Yeah.
that's
Terrible.
Oh my
I
god.
think that's what they
the
want.
integrity cracks at like number 2.
Yeah.
Now the list is insanity because A, you didn't make the list. B, the person that you thought you were leaving actually has a much better podcast as a result of you leaving. And then they expose the fact that y'all really didn't bring anything to it because, let's be honest, the Joe Budden podcast is 10 times better than where Rory and Maul was there, right? Queen's Flip is dope. Everybody on there is dope. Even adding Melissa Ford in there for giving her takes and stuff like that is dope. I love Ish on there, and it's some people that actually pushes back against Joe instead of Maul being too cool for school, Rory. And then when they went on their own, it exposed the fact that they really weren't that good. And the only reason that people were even checking for Rory and Maul in the first place is because they was leaving Joe Budden. So Joe Budden largely were the reason why they got on. Now, that's not a problem, right? You can get put on by anybody. But let's not hate and say that Joe ain't the best at what it is that he's doing, or at the very least at the top 3. And that the platform is much better, a much better product. Even him being able to continue to put together a platform after you left when everybody said that it was going to be his demise. And then Joe came back and absolutely nuked them. So let's continue.
Now, a lot of people are going to ask, well, chicks, why didn't these guys make the list? Well, they actually fairly critiqued themselves and explained why they didn't make the list. Here's what they said.
Hip hop media power rankings.
Power rankings. So they have a lot of power.
All right, so why y'all ain't make the list?
That's a good question.
Yeah, why didn't you guys make the list?
Well,
because we're not hip hop media.
Yeah, and at first I would have said it's because it has to be individuals, but then Gillian Wall.
Yeah.
Bro.
Because so much of our shit, and not to say we would make it regardless, but we're not the interview cast. Like, I mean, we do that, but that's not.
According to Reddit, we are.
Yeah.
No, they've been very happy lately, guys.
But that's not something that we like have full-fledged tried to go towards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for everyone on this list, their moments are interviewing people. That's their moments. Our moments wouldn't be that. So
I'm just not, you know, for me, it's just a difference of I just don't, it's enough of this. It's enough people in the space that are interviewing each other. I just try not to, anybody we sit down and interview is, you typically kind of have a personal relationship with them a little bit.
Yeah. Family.
We kind of have like.
It's all corny. It's all cap. I just dropped the link inside of the chat for y'all to be able to come up and say whatever it is that y'all want to say. On Fridays, I like to open it up for anybody that got something that they want to say. You have to be on camera and you have to have good lighting. But it's all cap. Let me play another clip for y'all. Because Joe Budden obviously responded and he called them the bare minimum boys, which he was absolutely going in, right? He was going in. Now, I have to be careful with Joe Budden stuff because if I don't do it correctly, then they will take the profits from whatever my live stream is and be able to I'll have to split it with them, right? So YouTube got some new policies and things like that. But let me go back to a Chigs and Smooth video so that I can add some additional context and value into this conversation. And again, you guys are more than welcome to join in. I just dropped the link inside of the chat. Have your camera.
this is his third press run in 2 years.
Still hating.
Mm-hmm. And this last one, his whole press run was trying to tell people that he does not talk about us. Your press run was talking about us, saying you don't talk about us. You just went on your third press run in 2 years. I have not been on one press run talking about your ass.
Now, Joe Budden went on to explain and expose Rory, and then he talked about how Rory had lied to him, saying that he had got a $10 million deal, in which that obviously wasn't true, and how he realized he was lying to him after they supposedly had left and wasn't rocking with Joe at all. But let's continue. I'm going to try to fast forward through this to get to a part where Joe Budden kind of sort of addresses what's going on here, right?
For some time now, a press run. I want to define the term press run because we're largely responsible with introducing it and y'all using it wrong. A press run is when you set up a string of press for the purpose of promoting something.
Introducing a product.
You have to have something to promote. If you just pop up somewhere, that's not a press run. And Bear has been saying that for some time now. I totally disagree with that. Bear. Who's Bear, you are mistaken. When I show up to these platforms,
Now, who is Bear? Bear is supposed to be Rory, and then minimum, I think, is Maul. So Bear minimum, boys. Bear is supposed to be Rory because he don't want to mention their name anymore, and he called them the Bear minimum boys. He's calling them Bear and minimum now, and so this is how he's addressing them.
These people just are thrilled to have me.
Reading super chats shortly.
I'm not there promoting something, and I certainly wouldn't be there to just promote you. Bear, you are wrong in that. And I'm not your enemy. I'm not the enemy, for once. I ain't spoke to niggas in years. Actually, you about to make me go in there.
I saw it.
You about to make me go in there. You make me mad now. Yeah, I'm not anybody's enemy. I ain't spoke to nobody in years. I'm just offering constructive criticism by watching and just seeing what's going on. Now, one of the last times that I saw Bear, we met up over there at OnView, and he needed a ride to his car. So he got in my car, and I was driving to the garage, and he said, "Hey, man, you know we got close to that 10 million, right? I mean, we didn't get that 10, but we got close." And I just nodded my head, "All right, Bear. Like, why you even tell me? It's none of my business." And he said, "Because I feel like I want you to know." And I said, "All right, well, you're lying." And he said, "How you know?"
He said, "You lying," and then the dude said, "How do you know?" You lying. Well, how do you know? You lying. Well, how do you know that I'm lying? Because first of all, you just said, "How do you know?" Anybody that got in, listen, anything that I said throughout the week that you don't necessarily agree with, the link is in the chat for you to be able to cam up and be able to express your thoughts. There you go.
Because you're set. Not a $10 million set. And then shortly after that, we stopped speaking, and then y'all wasn't at the set no more. And I'll admit, I want to know why.
Why you blaming me? It's about to go bad. Go ahead.
No, I ain't saying nothing wrong.
I know. You have a way of not saying
I'm talking to podcasters because Bear and Minimum have done nothing but put on a master class to put on a master class in how to lose fucking value. So I'm not.
He said Bear and Minimum, a.k.a. Rory and Maul, has done nothing but put on a master class in how to lose value. They've done nothing but put on a master class in how to lose value. And you know what the worst part of this whole conversation is? You know what the worst part of this whole conversation is? He's right. He's right. If you are better than Joe, how come you not beating Joe at what it is that you said that you're better than Joe in? If you feeling some type of way, how come you not doing it? Why? And Joe called out a lot of different things that I'm not even going to play because there's multiple different clips and it's too much to play. But they sitting up there on the couch holding their microphones.
Talking to y'all, I'm talking to future podcasters to learn from your mistakes. So I wanted to know why y'all left that little studio.
Yo, let me say this real quick.
And you ended up in y'all house. So then you started recording next to a graveyard. And I took a moment to laugh because I love when God and me see eye to eye on things. But the problem with that is, I said to myself, now wait a goddamn second. All right. Oh, the nigga said, well, we're not in the building no more because they didn't like how the dog was acting around here. And I said, that sounds familiar. But then I scratched my head. I said, wait a minute, Bear. You mean to tell me that these niggas gave you $10 million and said, hey, your dog can't come up here no more, and you stayed home with the dog?
Oh, what the I didn't know he was going there with this, guys.
Ouch, that was kind of petty. Now, in addition to that, Joe Budden has now given them nicknames, calls Rory Bear, calls Maul Minimum. So now, not only does he not have to say their names, now he doesn't have to bleep them anymore.
Everybody got to go to bed with them questions for themselves. Y'all over there, you know that Minimum don't have a comfortable couch in his house. He over there disrespecting your couch, yo. This nigga put his feet on, she rolling around. Nigga might as well get an ass on your couch. Why you lift your friend?
And now the fans are going to start running with this nickname for them. He also addressed his comments to Rory and Maul about them holding mics on the podcast. Here's what he said.
Say a strong opinion.
Or B&H.
Entertain. That's the other thing. I'm gonna address this. It was a big deal about what I said about holding mics. Some people got offended. I wasn't trying to be funny. All I was saying was, if you're sitting somewhere holding a mic for a long time, then you clearly don't plan on being there a long time. You're looking stupid in the face, you're looking doofy, you don't know what to do with your hands. It's the bare minimum again. I thought that was helpful. You got to get the uncomfortable feeling of going to BMH.
Now, Joe continues. He gave them advice again on their set. Talks about the background of Rory and Maul's sets. Here's what he said.
Your wires around. Yes, you do. Snake the wires around. You just got the wires across the living room table. This shit is a mess. It's a mess, girl. I think that's good advice. Fix the shot. Set designer, all this shit. This is to all podcasters. Get the fucking blender and rice cooker out of the
Oh my God. Listen, basically, he just basically nuked them. He went in on them. He broke down why specifically they're not on his level, that they have no business in critiquing Joe, that they should probably keep his name out of their mouth because it's levels. It's levels to this. And I think that Joe is absolutely right. I think that there's levels to it. I think that you got to be careful who name you mention because they may be listening and they may be waiting to address you accordingly. Let me read these super chats. Oh, snaps. I don't see nobody with no smoke today. I don't see nobody with no smoke today. I guess they said, listen, Anton, I don't have no pushback for you. I don't have no comments. I don't have no perspective. It's over 1,000 people in here, and I don't see anybody that have no kind of comments or smoke for me specifically, but they be typing hard in the chat and in the comments all week. They be typing hard in the chat and in the comments all week. Let me read some of these super chats. Shout out to Jay Hunter Lee in the building. Says Dems are coming after Justice Thomas because they can't pack the court. I tend to agree with you on that, and thank you for the 20 ball. I do think that the problem with a lot of this is that I do think that there is an agenda from the Democrats. The problem with this is that when you leave an opening for them to be able to attack you and utilize this level of information, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't a snake bite you if you leave an opening in the door for them to be able to crawl in? Especially when they're trying to take over your home. I agree 100%. I just think it's additional context that goes along with it. Ian with the 5 ball says, many people don't know that Justice Thomas took Thurgood Marshall's seat. He has done great for the Second Amendment, and they need him gone. I like Justice Clarence Thomas. I think that he has done phenomenal. I like his positions and his stances on a lot of different things, including the Second Amendment. It's just hard. It's hard to be able to say that they should not investigate when you have been hobnobbing and taking trips without reporting it from a billionaire. Roger Marine says her murder was plotted in the U.S., which gives U.S. prosecutors jurisdiction, and those pookies can be prosecuted. FBI and prosecutors are lazy. Nope, I'm going to do you one better. Roger Marine. The black community, when it's time to get behind something that actually can be meaningful, is lazy. Because the only thing that we see from a lot of these legislative branches and the people that are in power is the power that we then gave to them. Who you vote for, who it is that you advocate for, Who's the people in power then putting other people in power in order for them to be able to make the decisions that they make? Let's be clear. If this had anything to do with any other group of people, you guys would be protesting to your heart's content. You would have Black Lives Matter there. You would have Jesse Lee Jackson at the funeral. The whole 9 yards. Not Jesse Lee Jackson. Jesse Jackson. And all of the rest of them at the funeral. But nope. Shout out to Swagitude in the building. Says, happy belated. I see you been on your Thanos lately. Keep snapping your fingers on them hyenas and dusties. Enjoy time, dog. Thank you, Swagitude. I appreciate you. Listen. I've been kind of chill this week. I've been slow motion. And I think part of it is just because I've been in such a good mood. I've been dropping a lot of good content and information for the Patreon members and the bag chasers. If you're not a part of the Patreon, and thank you for the 50 ball Swagitude. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I've been in a really great space and a really great mood. We got Fight Club popping off tonight. I did a live stream. We got Q&A on Mondays. I did a live stream on Wednesday, in which I think I'm going to start doing live streams on Wednesday nights on the Anton Daniels channel. I got a new interview video that I'm dropping this weekend inside of the Patreon, and I'm going to update it with the new venue information over the weekend now that I got a pulse on exactly how many people are going to be coming, and it's going to be popping. So shout out to all of my bag chasers and Patreon members, and I turned 41, so I couldn't be mad. I was in an incredible mood and a great space, so, you know, what can I say? How can I be mad, you know? Y'all showered me with love yesterday. John Wick says Thomas didn't disclose that house or trips because he don't want to work mob to know where he be at. He ain't want that Brett Kavanaugh treatment. Shout out to John Wick. I like the way you spelled the name. Sam B says, Senior Thomas is being targeted because of his involvement behind the removal of Roe v. Wade. Scrutiny in this matter is how they would try and justify his removal. I think that's a fair assessment. I would definitely say that that's a fair assessment. Let me go ahead and keep dropping that in the chat for everybody that wanted cam up, that thought that they wanted the cam up, but all of a sudden they don't want to cam up, and you know we cam up on Fridays. Dakota's Jenkins says, also, most heterosexual black men who believe in traditional family and community are typically conservative in their views, and I agree. A lot of times black men are conservative, but they don't even realize it, right? Because even when I was coming up, I didn't realize how conservative we were, but for some reason we stayed on a Democratic plantation. And that's not to say that I would never vote for a Democrat again, because I pick and choose people based off of their policies and where the direction I think that the country need to go in. However, lately I've been 100% on a Republican side and leaning into conservative values and principles. And I didn't even realize how I was taught to be more conservative, but I was still taught to vote for Democrats, right? So that's pretty interesting. Thank you to Coldest Jenkins. I appreciate you for that. I'm going to bring you up 1 second, Mike. Let me read a couple more of these super chats. Elliot Jackson says, good morning, bro. Thought I would have taken yesterday off of my birthday. That ended up designing a website and submitting 46 LOIs for property. Oops, I guess I'm a little too addicted to bag chasing. Shout out to Elliot Jackson. Ash. Gosh. With the 100 ball says, Miss Robinson's death is an example of fake. You should have put that in all caps. Fake outrage. Hello, pro-blacks, Black Lives Matter, etc. But we got smoke for just pearly things. All liars. Question. Was the alleged female who beat her a transformer? Injuries are consistent with male force. Are we protecting the alphabet community? Now you know that black people are in bed with the alphabet community, Ash. Thank you for the 100 ball. I appreciate you. Elliot Jackson also says, also, what's your take on having two phones, one for personal and the other for business, versus trying to make just one phone work for both? Might get a 14 max. For the new iPhones, I do believe you should have two phones. I'm actually talking to y'all on an iPhone right now. Game is to be sold, not told. Everybody say, Anton, why your camera so crispy? I'm talking to y'all on an iPhone. I'm talking to y'all on my personal iPhone. The camera that I got right now is a personal iPhone, and it's crispier than any of you motherfuckers' cameras. But the 14s and the latest version of the iPhones allow for you to have a digital SIM in which you can have two phone numbers on one phone. So I have 4 numbers on 2 phones. All right. So I think you should have a personal number and a business number. I'm gonna bring you up C2 Nice in a minute also. Just a couple more. Ash says, I prefer the iPhone 13 Pro Max because it's the latest USA phone with a SIM tray. See? Why? If traveling outside of the USA, most countries do not use eSIMs. Having both options give you flexibility. So Ash added a little bit more context. Lamb Sauce says, what up, big dog? Is there a reason you say not to use audiobooks? Keep you doing you. I say don't use audiobooks because I find that people that read audiobooks, and obviously you've got a coaching session with me, people that use audiobooks often at times are getting distracted because they're doing multiple different things while they're listening to whatever it is that they're listening to when they're supposed to be completely immersed in what it is that they're studying. So they miss certain points and gems inside of the books. And so I always advocate to read regular books. I only read regular books. I don't do audiobooks in order to ensure that I continue to take in all of the information. So that's why I say it. Black Beauty, shout out to Black Beauty with the 20 ball, said happy birthday, happy born day again, Anton. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Black Beauty. And I'm very much expecting to see you on Fight Club tonight. Thank you for the 20 ball. Two more. Accountability Partner says, did you try that cigar? I didn't get a chance to smoke it yet because I'm taking it with me over to Vegas. Yeah. Shout out to the Accountability Partner. And my dog Brock with the Pass the Love offering says, I sent you 50 yesterday, but I was late. No, I appreciate you. I seen that, Brock. Thank you to everybody that contributed and held me down. I said, don't take your top off like Diamond did in the Players Club for that stripper money. Shout out to Brock and shout out to everybody that hold me down. Let me bring up a couple different people because I want to see what y'all thoughts are. Let's try this first. I'm gonna get Mike Razor in here. What up, Mike? And then I'm gonna
what's up?
get C2
What's going on,
too. Chilling, my friend. Trying not to suffer at the hands of the black folks that's trying to kill me and hold me accountable. What's up, Mike?
I hear you, baby. I hear you. Yeah, happy belated, man.
Thank you, my friend. What's your thoughts?
Yes. So, yeah, man. Well, first of all, I think that whole Shanquella situation, I don't think the government want to get involved with it, even though they think I think because the media got involved in it, they kind of stepped their toe in to act like they care, but they really don't care about it. They, it's just like, let's just see what happens. And then the end all be all, whoever's handling all of that is just like that. We got more important things to deal with. Let's just move on. From a government perspective, just my opinion. But as far as the Joe Buttons and Maul situation, first of all, I don't think it's cool to incorporate personal relationship into business stuff. And I have a relationship. Well, had a relationship with Maul a long time ago. I'm friends with his family.
Maul?
Yeah, with Maul. Yeah. So I'm friends with his family. I've known him for a long time. We got mutual friends in the industry and what have you. And for Joe, whether it's a monetary dispute, for Joe to come off, I understand ratings and all that, and you throwing what you can out there to bring in people, and that was a good thing that he ended up bringing in Melissa Ford, because then that's bringing more men into play to watch. More people want to watch now. You know what I mean?
I don't watch for Melissa Ford at all.
No, you ain't. Well, shit. I turned it on a couple times, to see how her and I, we worked at this real estate company before.
Well, see, you tuning in because you know her.
No, I know of her. I don't know her like we cool.
Oh, like okay, I got you.
Let's make that clear. But I, personally, Joe Buttons has never been that important to me at all. I only tuned in to that show because my man Maul was on there.
Do you still watch it at all? Do you still watch it at all?
No.
Do you watch Rory and Maul?
Nope. I don't watch any of it because, and I'll be honest with you. Because a lot of the stuff is not something that right now I'm thinking about the bag. I'm a part of the bag chasers. I'm trying to get it, and that's what's most important to me right now. I got a family. I'm doing the one-on-ones with you. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to grow. I think certain things that's on on YouTube and stuff right now is just not it's not good for time consumption.
I agree with you. But people like their entertainment. What's going on, C2 Nice? What's your thoughts?
With the Shanquella, man,
that pissed me off. I didn't really. I've been paying attention to it a little bit, but I've just been in. I haven't really paid attention because I just thought it was gonna be taken care of. It's on camera. You got body slam, WWE moves happening. It's like, look, if I go out of state and commit a crime and I get caught, I mean, like caught on camera, and I make it back to my city, I doubt that I'll just be walking around.
Let me correct that one. They were out the country, not just out the state.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if I leave the country right now and go commit a crime and it get exposed, I'm pretty sure by the time I get home or sometime during my span of life at home, they gonna come wrap my ass up. So that's a fact. So I don't understand how, like, I'm hot because I got a daughter and she only 2. I'd be damned if my daughter go out of, bruh, look, I don't even need them to prosecute her. I'm knocking them off one by one.
Well, here's the key. No, well, that's us, right? And I agree with you 100% because there's no way that I would be able to sleep knowing that my daughter got possibly murdered by a grown man and their friends. And they came and sat in my crib and told me to my face that something else happened and ate my food as a result of it. Now, here's my question, though. And this is what I have for y'all. Why isn't, because we get outraged at a lot of different stuff. We got outraged at a white woman on the internet. Why isn't the black community outraged about Shanquella Robinson?
We don't care about each other. Look, Anton, let me tell you this.
We act like we do.
No, we don't. Who?
No, I agree with you, but I have to play. Listen, I got to play devil's advocate so that I can try to push back at you guys because maybe I'm not seeing it and maybe I'm off, right? Because I've always believed that the proof is in the pudding, and when the opportunity shows for people to actually either A, put their money in your pocket, B, advocate for something that actually matters, or C, actually have somebody back because you loyal and you really know them in real life and you're not no fair weather friend, depending on what the mob is saying, that it's going to reveal who's real and who's not, right? And so I got to play devil's advocate in order to look at it from the blackity black people side. Why aren't they advocating for, how come it's an unpopular subject right now? All of the news has died down and everything. How come people aren't still advocating for Shanquella Robinson?
You know how you say people need to be selfish before they can be selfless. A lot of black people selfish. They selfish in their own bull. They doing dumb shit daily, not take care of their kids, not raising, not to looking after their mamas. They elders is losing their minds and dementia taking over our culture and our race, and they just so consumed and they fuck and they bull that they selfish in it. They cheating on their wives. They doing all this shit and they just so consumed in. It's like they so caught into their mind that they don't care.
I think that we programmed.
They selfish.
I think that the overwhelming majority of people, not just black people, but people in general, have been programmed to think that they're pro-black just because they say, fuck the white man, for example. Right. I don't look at that. Listen, I don't even think that being pro-black, the term, is wrong, because being pro something don't mean that you're against somebody else. But what I see from the actions and the narrative that's being communicated is that they do hate other people. And so I don't look at that as being pro-black. That's why I say pro-blackity black, because to hate somebody in order to justify that you are for somebody else, that's not being pro anything. That's being a racist, in my opinion.
I mean, I think we care. I think we do care, but I don't think that we feel we could reach out far enough to actually solve the problem. Because first of all, like you said, like you just said, it's almost a shock factor. You know, I grew up in the Bronx, in the hood, in one of the worst in the South Bronx, in one of the worst neighborhoods in the South Bronx on Webster Avenue. Now, if you ask anybody from the Bronx, where's Webster Avenue, they're going to point to all these projects that's about 5 or 6 blocks that's like 32 floors of building. You understand what I'm saying? We talking about chopped up bodies behind buildings. We talking about kidnappings. We talking about drug infestation. So and back in the 80s, because I'm 40 now, back in the 80s, all we saw on the news was the war on drugs and the fact that our people was dying before they was 21 years old.
Mhm.
So when now we adults, we see stuff like the Shanquella situation, and we like, damn, we want to do something about it, but then we got problems that we can't even solve here in our own communities, in our own situations. So we want to do something, but somebody has to step up, like how you said you talked to the father, and you know what I mean, and you kind of got that information and helped out and what have you. But somebody gonna have to step up and consider the fact that maybe the government might end up coming in and do a Dr. King or do a MLK or something on him, if that's
Like you
really what
said,
they want to do, because otherwise it's not going to happen.
like you saying, Tom, where is all the blackity black? Man, I am not in no type of power. It's many black people in power that ain't saying nothing. They ain't said nothing. So
Well,
they
it's
gotta
not
start.
popular. I think it's all fake. Like, I'll give you an example, right? It's people, right? Everybody knows who does what. Everybody knows, like, who's the culprits in their own neighborhoods, for example. You know who the jack boys are. You know who the dope boys are. You know a lot of people know who the cops know who the crooked cops are, right? But at the end of the day, those dudes walk the streets every single day. So then you'll say, okay, well, listen, we want to hold the mayor accountable, because successful policing in any community is largely based off of community policing, meaning that if somebody comes over in this neighborhood, the police is largely going to depend on the residents to call the police in order to alert them that somebody is over here doing something that they're not supposed to do. But it only works if the people actually participate in their own success, right? And it's the same thing that happens in the black community, online, and so on and so forth, because it's all selective outrage. It's selective outrage. You cannot sit here and tell me that people actually want what's in the best interest of people that they say that they advocate for, but they do the complete opposite in what it is that they bring forth in a community, as far as what it is that they actually living for, what they doing, who they really support and they love. It's nonsense. It's all foolishness. I think it's all cap. I'm not going for it at all. Not even a little bit.
Hey, Twan, every time you be getting on our community, man, I be laughing, and I'm 100% in agreements with you. And it's like, for instance, I'm a safety manager.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm at my safety position, man, everywhere I go, black people, they see me, they acknowledge me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bag chaser, so I'm a humble bag chaser too. So I got a night job where I go, and I'm a porter.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody acknowledges me.
You know what comes with it.
It drives me crazy, because I acknowledge every time I come across a black man. You don't have to say hi to me, but I know I'm going to lock eyes with you,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to do a head nod, a shoulder nod, something.
Well, think about it like
Even
this. Look, I'll give you an example. It's a guy that's in the chat that I've been watching for a long time, right?
Okay.
His name, well, not for a long time, but just for the day. He's arguing. Listen, he's on my video arguing with people about super chatting, donating, being a part of the bag chasers, right? And he's basically saying, listen, here, I'll highlight it right here. He says, basically super chatting, supporting what it is that I do, right? Because I don't have to do it, and I don't ask anybody for anything. I don't say y'all need to do this or whatever, but y'all do it out of the kindness of your own heart, because you see the value that I give to you on a regular basis. And he says it makes as much sense as giving money to a rich church pastor while you have homeless people laying on the street. First of all, none of my people are homeless. Secondly, you don't really see the success rate, and you don't understand because you're not a bag chaser. And this is one of the reasons why I have a paywall, right? when you decide to join the bag chasers or whatever like that, because it's not for everybody. But instead of them going over into people that they actually think that they can get value from, that they would agree with, they'd rather sit inside of my chat going back and forth with people who they not going to change their minds. It's not one person that's in that chat or that super chatted me or that's a bag chaser that's going to then think about it differently because of what it is that he's saying in the chat, right? Now, I love it, right? So I entertain it because this is what I do. However, instead of spending his time on something that he actually believes in and champions, he'd actually come over here, give me more views, continue to have me in his algorithm, because now that he's here, I'm going to pop up on every fucking thing that he opens up, right? And he'd rather spend time arguing with people that don't give a fuck about him. This is what I see from the black community on a regular basis.
I think
this is what I see. Now, do I have to come over here and say, yeah, I work with homeless people, or yeah, I fund my people's businesses, or I've tripled their income and all of that other type of shit? Now, I've never asked for anything from anybody. It's people in the chat right now who I funded their businesses, paid for their father's funeral, make sure that they lights is cut on and shit like that, and they still extracting way more value than I can ever give them, right? Just from the level of information that they get from me, especially in the coaching sessions. He don't even know that I charge over $500 an hour for corporate coaching sessions, but that I minimize that in order to just have people substantiate my time when I'm talking to them. But because he don't know, when he speak out of ignorance, he don't really know that he running up against a buzzsaw, because ain't nobody in this fucking chat gonna side with you. These is my people. This is my people.
And we all across the globe.
They can't stop what we got going on. They can't stop. Now, I could just ban him, but I'd want him to continue to catch these L's.
And it's crazy because it's like,
but I don't even ban them. The only time that I ever ban people now is when they say egregious shit, right? Like if you say something about my daughter or my wife or whatever, like then you got to go, right? But he hasn't cursed. He hasn't said anything disrespectful. But again, my question then becomes, why not go where you celebrate it versus where we tolerating you?
And like you say, you got a whole army. It's like, and then like, I'm not even like, I'm like just new to the army, and I'm already a crash dummy damn near. So you can't be out here like messing with people you don't know like that.
And you know what the funny part is? Some of the people that's going back and forth with him in the chat, it's people that also, and you're more than welcome to cam up. I've dropped the link in the chat for you to be able to cam up and ask me directly, right? Some of the people in the chat, they haven't even agreed with me on most things. I see people in the chat, and I've seen them type stuff. They say, listen, it's a lot of shit that I disagree with Anton on, but I respected him about this, and they rock with me.
Right.
This is a reflection of what it is that I see in this culture.
It's hard not to rock with you. A person that don't rock with you is just mad at life. Like Anton, you say shit like it hit everybody. Like you say, hey, y'all niggas don't know y'all daddy. Listen, that hit me too. But listen, it hit me different though. It hit me like, oh well, like, hey, I gotta keep moving on. I don't worry about that shit. But you say it, and then it's a whole bunch of people that take it like, oh, he on okay, it's like that. Like, man, people need to just stop worrying about what people saying and focus on their own lives. They talking shit to you and then get off
Let
the
them
phone.
stick around. Let them stick around. This is what I call when we were real heavy in the church. See, accountability partner. He just threw me another 50 ball. All he's doing is incentivizing people to continue to support the platform. He's doing more for me than he's doing against me, right? But this reminds me, let me tell you what. And anybody that has smoke, the link is right there in the chat. You're more than welcome to be able to cam up. Look at this shit. Look, I can't stop the people. I'm gonna read y'all super chats shortly. This reminds me of what we used to say in the church, right? And we used to say, don't kick them out. Like, we're not going to turn anybody away. We're going to feed them. We're going to edify them. We're going to continue to give them this work. They're going to come in with a bad attitude. They're going to feel a certain type of way. But if they keep coming back enough, the majority of the people that rock with me say, Anton, when I first met you, I fucking hated you, or I didn't like what you said about this or this and that, so on and so forth. But eventually they had to respect what I was saying because they realized that either at some point they agreed with me because it was something about them that they didn't like, or they had to respect the fact that I say what I mean and I mean what I say, and I'm objective enough to hold everybody accountable and including myself open to the possibility that I'm wrong, right? So let them keep coming back. Let them keep coming back. Don't block them. Don't time them out. We don't want people here just that agree with me. We don't want to live in an echo chamber. We want to be in a space where eventually, if you keep coming back enough, you're going to be influenced and impacted by what it is that we're doing over here.
It's just crazy,
I
man.
think
Even when
when
people
you
say
ask
that
that
about
whole
you.
question about how we act as black people, I think we act like kids. I think all the like I don't like getting political about it, and the media is very political, so I don't really like going there. But I think what it is, we act like kids, and we don't know how to protest correctly. Like we don't even know what that really looks like. We go out and we march in the tech era.
Mm.
I don't even talk to people no more. I'm like, all right, you got it. Go out there, guys. You're gonna get it. We don't know how to move our money. We have no idea how to come together when it comes to money. We act like kids. We scream and we holler, and everybody else looks at us kind of like, even though our hearts is in the right place sometimes, they just hear a lot of noise.
Mm-hmm.
They just hear the noise, and you gotta think. You at a party and you just screaming. You're like, get this Negro out of it. Like get him out of here. That's it. It's not like, because just think about it. If you think from the, I don't think we look at it from the viewpoint of other people. If you at a club and you a white guy, or you paid all this money, right? You just came here, you trying to relax, and somebody may have stepped on that black dude's shoes. You don't know what happened over there. You
Right.
just see him mad, angry, going at another dude, and you're like, see, honey, that's what I'm talking about. I just came here to chill. I just want to, you already have your you already have things you've been told about black people from the jump, from media, from the world. And then it's reinforced because you look out and you see them acting a certain way, and you're like, I really don't even care. Like, person to person, besides your color, I really don't care about what's going on with you. I came to the club to party with my girl, chill back, relax, and you're creating a disturbance. So now I
Right.
just want you to come on, get them up out of here. So that's the way I look at. That's the way I look at these things that happen. Like with Shanquella, I'm sorry, I'm saying the name wrong. With the young lady that died in Mexico.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
I just
It's
think
only in
we
our
don't know how
culture.
to properly. We don't know how to properly go about handling these situations because we're the only ones who have to really deal with these things like that, right? When these things happen to black people, it's just like, well, nobody cares. But we never sit back and say, why don't they care about what happens?
Yeah.
We gotta address that at some point.
We the only ones doing it to each other. Like I could go, a man could step, I could step on a black man's shoes and he'd be down there ready to kill me.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
the only people. We the only people that do that. I could step on a white man's shoe. It's all good. Oh, so it's all good, but he could step on my shoe. Oh man, it's all good. Don't trip, man. But when a black man, if I get, that's just what it is. We the ones that go on camera, body slamming each other. We the ones doing this shit to each other. We the ones doing
I
it.
agree. I agree.
I mean,
So we
yeah,
can't.
to an extent, man, but you got white folks that do the same thing. There's still some
That's
white
true
folks
too.
out there
That's true
walk
too.
right across the street. It happened to me. You walk right. It was like 1 a.m. I was walking home from work. Walked right across, right past this white guy and his girlfriend. And as I walked past, he was drunk. He looked at me and he just, jumped at me and was ready to fight for no reason.
Okay,
No
that's an
reason at
exception,
all.
man. A drunk
No,
white man.
no, bruh, no, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you,
I
they
never
do it.
had no. Listen, all my experience, I never had a situation with a white man.
Trust, I have several
Well,
times,
that's
man.
a class thing
So,
too. We can't forget that that's a class thing. So I mean,
right.
at some point you have to split certain people from certain people, even within a group of people. And
Yeah,
that's
I
the
don't.
part
I
that we
don't
don't
think
get.
my thing is. My thing is. I don't separate it. I think that there's
No.
bad white people and there's good white people. I think that there's bad black people and then there's good black people, right? And it's just like I try to evaluate each individual based off of my real experience with them, but I'm not going to automatically assume that you're a good person just because you black, right? And I'm not going to automatically assume you're a good person just because you white. But if a white person treats me good, I'll be damned if somebody come on my stuff and tell me that I'm supposed to treat them bad just because they white and champion you when you an asshole just because you black. Like that's for me, I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how many people say that they don't like it. I don't care how many people say that I'm not on code. I don't care. I am going to stand on what it is that I've been raised to believe because I'll be damned if a group of internet thugs undo what it is that my father taught me growing up. My father said to treat each individual and evaluate each individual based off of the merits of their character. I'm not going off of what it is that these motherfuckers are saying. Like the mob can't change what it is that I stand for. This is what I was raised to believe, and then my own lived experience confirmed it. So this is what I stand on. And there's
Right.
nothing worse than a man, a grown man. Cause see, I expect it from women, right? Women is emotional. That's just the way that they fucking move, right? It don't excuse them from being held accountable. Um, but that's how women move, right? But for a man to move based off of the general population and the mob, I can't, man. I just can't relate. I'm not doing it. I'm never doing it. I've been wrong, and let's be clear. Like I've been wrong on some things, a lot of different things that I've been wrong because I grow and I reserve the right to grow and change my mind also. But at the same time, if I don't feel like I'm wrong, I'm not just gonna be wrong because you said it. Fuck you.
Right.
No. And listen, just because I have a disagreement with somebody I don't even agree with everything my mother say. Just because I got a disagreement with somebody don't mean that I got a beef with them. You know,
And to be honest,
I'm gonna try to be as objective as possible. It's a lot of things I don't agree with Dr. Umar Johnson about, but it's some things that I definitely agree with Dr. Umar Johnson about. And I call that out too. I say, listen, he is absolutely right about this, but he is hilarious when he say he hit the cash app because somebody threw a rock through the window. It's hilarious to me. You know what I'm saying? And I could be wrong. I could possibly be wrong, but I'm gonna be objective as much as I can about it. Because this is what I stand on and this is what I believe.
definitely.
But to be objective, you had to have some type of critical thinking skills. I literally just talked to my uncle about this yesterday. He was a school teacher for a very long time, and he said that's one of the things that they championed all in school is kids having critical thinking skills. And like I think as a people, especially when you get to a certain class of people in America, we don't have good reasoning skills. We don't. For you to stick outside of the crowd, for you to stand up and move yourself apart from the crowd, you had to think about that. You have to have something in you pushing you to do that mentally. And if you don't have it, or at least been taught that, then what you want to, you know what I'm saying? What you want to do? Like you're just gonna be like, all right, everybody else is going down this path. I might as well join it, especially when they make it seem fun. See, that's what I was saying when it comes to like our class and our culture and stuff. It's like you said stepping on somebody's shoes, right? Like for a minute there, that was a thing, right? It's like respect. Like you stepped on my shoes, you're not showing me respect, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to handle it.
It's people,
Hold on.
But
listen,
in
But if I
it's
step
reality,
people
on
in the
your
chat right
shoe,
now. It's people in the chat right now, like Kojak. This guy right here that I'm highlighting right now. This guy's known me for over 27 years. He know who I am. Like he's seen, I'm not different. I'm no different than the day that I met him 27 years ago. I'm no different. I'm the exact same person. I talk like this in high school. I talk like this in the hood. I talk like this on 20214 Green Lawn where I was raised up. You know what I'm saying? Like I talk like this on the basketball court. I'm talking like this
right?
in 2023 on April 14th, the day after I turned 41 years old. Come on, man.
41.
This has been me my entire life.
bro.
Yeah, but
When you
you
say
probably a
like
special.
when you say people used to tell you, "Hey, Tom, man, I didn't used to like you, but now I do." Man, I'll be like, I don't understand that.
I mean, it's
Like
okay.
because you
I
don't
think
bring
that it's
you.
okay for people to like or dislike me. I'm not tripping off that. What I'm trying to understand is if they dislike me, why wouldn't they spend more time with the people that they actually liked? Because I don't believe that they dislike me. I don't believe that they dislike me. In their heart, I don't believe it. I think that they secretly love me. And
They do.
they just trying to figure out and give themselves a reason to come on over to the dark side. So
You got a good you got it.
it's like that
You got
girl, right? It's like that girl that always said, I hate you. She ain't hate you. She was just waiting for you to ask her out to the dance, man. She was just waiting for you to ask her out to the dance. That's all. They don't hate me. They love me. They love me. They kids love me. The people that watch me, that they know love me. And eventually they're going to come on over to the dark side. Come on and join over. It's better over here. We richer. We got a good mentality. The weather is better. We catch better flights. We got good energy. We got a good networking opportunity. And it's people that's going in the direction that
Oh
you
man.
secretly want to go in.
Hey, it's
Hey man,
wonderful.
look, and when y'all go to that
It's
when
wonderful.
y'all had that meetup, hey, read what I put in the Patreon to everybody when you go to that meetup. All right, because I'm not
Yeah, I
gonna be
got
able
you.
to go.
It's going to be a lot of
So can you
people.
read that?
A lot of people.
See, I'm trying to
Yeah,
still
read
figure out
that
if
to
I'm gonna be able to
everybody. Let
get out
everybody
there,
know
man. I'm
I
trying to
said
get
have
out
fun.
there. I'm trying to work it out, man. I definitely if I don't make this one, I'm for sure coming to the next one. I know you're gonna
Yeah.
be out here today. I know you're
Oh,
gonna be out here
we
in
doing it
Vegas
back to
today.
back. We gonna do I don't want to say the city yet, but what I usually like to do is I like to do every single month. Once we get rolling, every single month I go to a different city and then I just meet
Okay,
people where they at. New York, DC, Atlanta, LA. We do all of it. We do all over the United States.
for sure. Man, maybe when you come out here, man, we get a shot or something, man. I pop up, hey, drinks on me or something. Hey, I know
For
you're gonna
sure.
be out here for what? You gonna be out here for 2 days?
Yeah, I'm gonna be out there for a few days. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Well, I know you're gonna enjoy yourself, man. I know you. Yeah, it's gonna be a ball out here for you. So enjoy yourself, of course.
I'm always in Dallas.
No, I'm in Vegas.
I'll be in Vegas too.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
The
I'm in
weather had the
Vegas
weather
right
had
now.
to switch up. You know, Vegas be cold.
Yeah, it's getting a little chilly right now. Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for camming up, man. I'm about to go and shoot over, catch this flight. I'm gonna give y'all the tour of my loft. They give me the whole 2-bedroom loft in Vegas. I'll be staying at the Badara, and you know how we do it. We bag chasers. We don't do nothing but the best. So
All
For
right,
I
look,
want
sure.
I
Hey,
want
hey, before you dip off,
definitely
hey, can you do me a favor? Can you help me out here
what's
real
that?
quick? Since I'm going to be shipping out, right?
Hmm.
Um, anybody in the DMV that hears this, I have a chocolate poodle. Okay,
You got a who?
healthy, beautiful chocolate poodle.
A chocolate poodle.
Yeah. I'm trying to find her a good home to go to, since I'm gonna be shipping out and be gone for a while. So if anybody, I just want a loving home. That's it. Ain't no money and nothing like
You
that.
got
Just
an email
somebody
address
just
for them
want.
to hit you at? Because I don't want to get your phone number out. A way for them to be able to contact
Yeah,
you.
man. Let me see.
Because I know you said you wasn't on Instagram.
I'm not on Instagram. I told you that. I don't. I
Well, you got to
when
give the
I got
people
the
a way to be
time.
able to reach out to you. How they gonna reach out to you if you don't give them a way to reach out to you?
Let me work on it, and I'll come back. Let me work on
You
that
got
now.
the opportunity to talk to the people right now. You ain't got
I
no
don't
email.
have anything. I don't have
it's
anything ready.
on,
Well, all right.
baby. It's
How about
You ain't
this?
on.
got no email address or nothing.
Trying to think of one real quick. Okay, how about this right here? Shoot, we can do this one. So they can contact me at Sorry about that. My bad.
I'm like, what
Did I
happened?
drop out?
I'm reading super chat
Am I
shortly.
still on?
Yeah, you on?
Yeah.
Oops.
But yeah, I'm gonna let you get to it in time, man. Enjoy your moment, man.
Thank you,
I'll
man. I
be in touch.
appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man, I dropped out.
Thank
My back
you, Mike. I appreciate you, Mike.
All right, brother.
and my back or did I drop out?
You here, man? You got to give them the email address or something.
All right. Let me get an email address real quick for you. Sorry about that, man. Cause I didn't even think about that.
You ain't got no way for them to contact you.
Not look. I got off of social media a long time ago. So I
You
focused
got to
on
have
work.
an email address.
Yeah, but that's like my. They can't send it to that email. That's for like business.
Oh my god.
All right, so Lex October flight 93 at gmail.com.
Say that again.
October flight 93 at gmail.com.
October flight FLIGHT.
That's correct.
October flight 93 at gmail.com.
That's right.
That is the weirdest email address that I've ever heard somebody come up with on the fly.
That's the only one I got on hand right now, man. That's all I got right now. What you want from me, man?
Listen,
Hey, for those people that are on
members,
Patreon,
audience members, email octoberflight93 at gmail.com to find a good home for a chocolate poodle for an individual that's in the DC area. Is that sufficient?
that's great. Thank you, man. I'm sorry. I know my bad. I'm sorry I'm putting you through it. My bad, G. But anyway, hey, shout out to Island Girl. That's my girl right there too. And I'm out, man. I ain't gonna cause you no more drama. I'll see you.
Bye, big dog.
Peace.
Let me read some of these super chats, y'all. Ronnie is in the building, says, I remember a week ago the topic of Dame Dash being an interview came up. I think that'll be a nice combo between you two. You seem to have a lot in common, except Dame often lets his emotions get the best of him. I'm going to try to get Dame on a platform. It's a few people that y'all have named that I'm going to work on getting on a platform, and hopefully I can add value into y'all life. I'm not saying that they're going to accept, but I'm going to try. So shout out to you, Ronnie, with the 20 ball. My dog, Lawrence Williams, says selective outrage. Throwing $50 at me like I'm a stripper on the pole. I appreciate you. Thank you, Lawrence Williams. My dog, the accountability partner, threw another 50 at me like I'm a stripper on a pole. He says, dang on right, I support you making 40% more since meeting Anton. Some folks too slow to get it. You know what else they not realizing, an accountability partner, is that I actually know y'all in person. I actually fly to y'all cities and kick it with y'all in person. I add value into y'all life in person. They not understanding. Thank you for the 50 mall, my friend. Stocks by the pound says, Anton, great channel, joined the Patreon yesterday. Hey, can we get a round of applause for all of the bag chasers? The new bag chasers that just came up and rocked out with me. Can someone add me to the Facebook group? Keep it coming, brother. Thank you to Stocks by the Pound. I rock with you. Hey, Natasha, can you please look out for him? Stephen Baker is in the building, says, yo, AD. Roland has done a few videos on Shanquella Robinson. The recent one was done a day ago. Shout out to Roland Martin. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I don't always like Roland Martin's takes, but if that's what's popping, shout out to Roland Martin for continuing to keep Shanquella Robinson's name alive, because I think that this is important for us to continue to acknowledge. Let's see what we got on here. Who else we got out here? Thank you, Steven. Jay Benji says, salute, big homie. I'm trying to be better with wearing glasses. I know you are a Versace guy. Any suggestions on brands? I stare at monitors all day. Now, I just got all Versace. So I got Versace regular glasses, a smaller pair. I got three other pairs besides the ones that I got on now. Just get something that fits your face and your style. You can get anything basically in prescription. It's not about the style. If you're staring at monitors all day, I don't actually use my glasses to stare at monitors. I use my glasses to walk throughout the day and have conversations. I heard Warby Parker has good glasses, so check them out. They're a national brand, I believe. Greatness to work with the 10 ball says Anton has people and goons down for him. He never even met. KS made us give him our word, control our image. His stands on family is why I rock with him. The next generation of men need to see that. Hashtag family. Thank you, greatness to work. I appreciate you, my friend. D Blake. Shout out to D Blake, looking beautiful and gorgeous in red. Says TLA interviewed a reporter in Mexico. He said the only reason a rumor about a trans came out was because of the authorities found a wig in the room. No, it was a dude. I don't know. You might be right. Shout out to TLA, my guy. I rock with TLA. I'm gonna do a little bit of research. I'm gonna actually reach out to the lead attorney when I get into Vegas over the weekend and see what his thoughts are on this whole thing. Aaron says Dr. Claude Anderson. I'll add him to the list if I can get him. That'd be dope. David Mosby says, hey, can I come back on and show her off? Oh, Jesus. David, I got to get off of here. I got to go catch a flight. Sharon Hammond says, hey, Anton and the Back Chasers. Yeah, come on up, man. Come on, David. We got to make it quick, though. Here, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you. Says, hey, Anton, Bag Chasers here. I just told Jameson to cam up. I cam up, too, to discuss his issue. Jameson ain't getting on here. The link to be able to cam up has been here for a long time. David, that's for you. But thank you, Sharon Hammonds. Jameson, listen, I drop this link in the chat every single Friday. Nobody is coming on here to say anything other than exactly what it is that they say in the chat. I give everybody a chance to be able to have all of their smoke, and nobody actually shows up. So that's for David to be able to show off the puppy. Mr. Sukuyami says, happy belated birthday, big dog. Sir, I couldn't make the previous streams. I've been putting in my 65 hours. You ain't never going to see me complain about dudes that's getting to that bag and putting in that work. Thank you. I appreciate you for the 10 ball and holding me down, my friend. Justified Crown says, Anton, you need to interview Shirazad Ali. Yeah, that might be cool. I got a few guests that's coming up on the panel on the Millionaire Morning Show next week. So I got a list of people that I'm working on. The only thing is, when I do my interviews, I like to do them in person. So you have not hit the link yet to be able to come up and show the puppy. All right, David. Jesus. Let's see if I can get you up here. I'm going to put you on the big screen. That don't look like no puppy. That look like a whole man over there. I got a list of people that I'm working on.
I don't know what to tell you. She a big dog.
The only thing is, when I do my interview, you got to turn down your YouTube. Turn down your YouTube. That ain't no poodle. That's a whole man.
She's only like 3. She's 3.5.
I thought poodles were supposed to be small.
She is small. She ain't that big. She ain't big at all. She's light. They just grow mad hair. That's it. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's cool. Well, listen, anybody looking for, I forgot what the email address is. October something.
I don't know why she can't. October flight
93 at gmail.com.
Yeah, if she's trained, she's not gonna potty in your house and nothing like that. She's not gonna bite your kids and nothing like that. She's a sweetheart. I don't know why she's being shy right now, but she's a sweetheart. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. All right, big dog.
All right, man. Peace.
All right. So there it is. 3 years old. How many is it? 7 years in dog years for every year. So 7, 14, 21. I don't know. No dogs for me. Dogs is like whole people and kids, except for they can't communicate with you, and you got to find a space for them to stay. So listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I will be in Vegas tonight. Fight Club. We got a good subject. It's gonna be popping tonight. Yeah, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, and thank y'all for all of the birthday love and always supporting me. And I plan on releasing a video inside of the Patreon this weekend also. And I want to do an exclusive with my boy Jay Woodfin. We're going to talk about credit. I'm going to break down every single myth and exactly what it is that you need to do in order to get your credit together. But that's going to be a Patreon exclusive. So you know what we do. Monday through Friday, 10:15 a.m. until we cook up. I add as much value to y'all as I possibly can. Make sure you don't fumble the bag on a Friday. We doing some awesome things. So I plan on sharing with y'all, and I'm going to be live streaming from Vegas next week. And then after that, I'm going to be live streaming from the Dominican Republic with my family. Shay Cal says, happy B-Day weekend. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I love you. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all stay focused. Make sure y'all stay on top of things. But I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that is? Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for continuing to hold me down. See y'all tonight on Fight Club. Peace.